New data from the Drug Enforcement Agency is painting a clear picture of how the opioid epidemic spread across the U.S. 76 billion pain pills flooded the country over the past 5 years. And while that number is astounding, the crisis has taken a very personal toll on one young Sioux Falls woman. Angela Kennedy has a story of how the opioid epidemic destroyed a Sioux Falls family in tonight's Eye on Kettleland.
Alicia and Sandra Salazar had to grow up fast. They lost both of their parents to opioid overdose. Now, 22-year-old Alicia is going public with her family's story in hopes of saving lives.
Imagine, it's 2011, your first day of high school, when you're overwhelmed with emotion, when you get a call later that day that your 12-year-old sister found your mom not breathing and unresponsive. She overdosed on oxycodone.
Alicia Salazar is telling her story in a video that has now been viewed thousands of times online. Alicia had just entered Lincoln High School when her mom, Crystal, overdosed at age 31. Crystal's death was ruled an accident and her cause of death, multi-drug toxicity. Crystal had oxycodone, a muscle relaxant, and another narcotic pain reliever in her system. Both Alicia's mother and father, Gino, used prescription painkillers.
Some days they would either sleep a lot or they would be in a daze. They didn't make sense much of what they were talking about. And I knew when I seen behavior like that they most likely had taken their medicine, but at the time I just thought it was normal.
Alicia was nervous about high school, but her mother had reassured her it would all be okay.
I was so excited to go home and tell my mom, because she told me the day before, it's not going to be bad as you think it is.
Instead, Alicia came home to this.
And there was a bunch of cops and there was a bunch of ambulances and I just didn't know what was going on, and then they told me that your mom passed away, she didn't make it. So just me and my little sister, so I had to take on the role of helping raise her. Well, she was 12 at the time and I was 14 and trying to raise myself as a teenager.
Just a year later, in 2012, her half-sister Katrina died at the age of 28.
So she overdosed on
oxycodone. It made me mad that she's even putting us through that, making us watch her do the same thing again that my mom just did. And she was there for my mom's funeral. She was there to help us through it. And so for her to do that again, I was just angry at the time.
Alicia says she and her younger sister leaned on their father, even though he was often traveling for his job in construction.
He was really goofy and he was really funny, and he did make it easier after we lost my mom and my sister, because even though it was hard, he still was there to put a smile on our face or make us laugh when we didn't want to.
But Gino Salazar was also dealing with bad knees and other pain from years of hard labor.
There was days again where I'd see the same patterns as I seen in my mom and my sister, and then again I just got angry. One day, actually the day he died, he was talking about my mom like she was still alive, and he made no sense, and I was just angry with him, and I was like, you're really gonna do this to us?
On July 15th, 2014, Gino Salazar died of a morphine overdose.
And so I moved him, asked him to get up, and he wouldn't, and then I just started shaking him and pleading and crying for him to wake up. And then I went to the room and told Sonny, we need to call 911, Dad's not breathing and he's not moving.
A few weeks later, Alicia began her senior year in high school.
They've missed all the big milestones.
Milestones like graduation. Alicia's first stop after getting her diploma was her parents' graves.
We got like flowers and we put them in like a heart around my mom's.
She says she's learned a lot since her parents' overdoses about the powerful hold opioids can have on people.
I wish my parents had more knowledge at the time of what was going to happen and what these pills were, but when they were taking them, I'm sure were convinced themselves that they weren't addicting and that they could just stop using them at any time. They just needed them for the pain.
Alicia says both she and her sister suffer from anxiety and depression in the wake of all the trauma they have experienced. Alicia has found healthy ways to cope.
Every time I felt like down or had a bad day, going to the gym really helped me just release all the stress I had.
Now Salazar hopes to educate others through videos like this one and by telling her story.
Unfortunately, I don't have to imagine any of this. This is my reality.
So I could either, go one of two ways with it. I could either go down the same path that I've seen everybody in my life do, or I can rise above it and do better and prove to not only my parents or my sister, but to myself that I'm going to do what I set my mind to, and I'm going to rise above everything else that's life handed to me and that I can make it better.
Alicia now plans to practice public speaking and become a certified personal trainer. She and her sister, who graduated from Lincoln in 2017, are moving to Colorado this summer to be closer to relatives.
Thanks, Angela. You can read more stories like these and to find out where to get help if you have a loved one suffering from addiction by going to this story at KELOLAND.com.